The Idol of Busyness. This morning I want to take you on a journey as we explore this topic. At the start of 2016, I think this is an important topic that we explore in our life. And it's going to be one I think will challenge you, and I pray will inspire you to place God at number one in your life. Have a think about this. We spend 25 years sleeping. On average, this is a survey that's been done, and on average, we spend 25 years just... We work for an average of 10.3 years of our lives. We watch TV for an average of 9.1 years. And we spend 2 years just watching TV commercials. We spend 1.1 years cleaning, and more if you're my wife. You should tell us if you spend 3 years cleaning, I think. We spend 2.5 years cooking. On average, we spend 3.66 years eating. That's about 67 minutes a day, just stuffing our face. We drive a car for 4.3 years. We spend 1.5 years in the bathroom. Women spend 1.5 years just doing their hair. And women spend 8 years of their life shopping. They also spend nearly 1 year just deciding what to wear. You know what it's like. Do I look good in this? Now it gets more challenging. We spend 7% of our waking time in front of digital media. We spend 90% of our time indoors. That's 71 out of 78 years indoors. An office worker spends 5 years just sitting at a desk. Life seems pretty full, doesn't it? You see, when we get busy, busyness tells us that we're important and that we're needed. It's just a habitual thing because it makes us feel, hey, we're important, hey, we're needed, and so we feel our lives just getting busy and busy and busy. But where is God in all this? Where is God? If we make anything our ultimate priority in the place of God, we have adopted a false idol. Think about it. If we make anything our ultimate priority in the place of God, we have adopted a false idol. Go with me to Romans. Romans 12, verse 1 to 3. Romans 12, and verse 1 to 3. And here it says, therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your lives as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you can test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Just think about it for a moment. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. What's the pattern of this world? Think about it. We wake up in the morning, have breakfast, have a shower, go to work, have lunch, keep on working, come home, read a book, watch television, go to bed. And then we do it all over again. We wake up in the morning, have breakfast, have a shower, go to work, have lunch, go to work, come home, read a book, watch TV, go to bed. And we keep doing the same thing day in, day out, over and over again. But where is God? We get so busy that we forget to spend time with God. Where is God in all this? You see, idols demand sacrifice, but never offer grace in return. Idols demand sacrifice, but never offer grace in return. And if you look at it, yesterday you can't take back. You can't take back last year. And so an idol, they just suck everything out of you. They demand that you give. But they never give anything back in return. But Jesus Christ says, hey, I am a sacrifice. Come to me and let's live life together. Come to me and let's do life together. Come live life with me. And I don't think Jesus knew that we get so busy that we forget about him. I think God knew that it was just going to be something that was just so hard for us to do. And that's why he gave us the Sabbath. And that's why he said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days, do what I learned. From the 7th day, just stop and spend time focused with me and on me. I like how the New Living Translation interprets it when it says, remember to observe the Sabbath as a holy day. 6 days a week after your daily duties and your regular work. But the 7th day is a day of Sabbath rest before the Lord your God. On that day, you are to do no work of any kind. On that day, you are to stop and just spend time with me. When we think of an idol, we often have biblical images of a golden calf. But an idol is any commitment that is in a higher place than a living God. Is it possible that your business may be an idol in place of a living God? So let me ask you this question. What's important to you? What's important to you? Come with me to Luke. Luke 10, 38 to 42. Luke 10, 38 to 42. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Luke 10, 38 to 42. Now it happened as they went that he entered a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving, And she approached him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all this work alone? Therefore, tell her to help me. And Jesus answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you're worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed. And Mary has chosen that good part, which will not be taken away from her. Let me highlight 3 key points from this passage that I want you to take away today. 3 key points. Point number 1. Martha was the one who opened the door. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I'll come in with him and dine with him, and he with me. Martha opened the door. But, it was Mary who sat at Jesus' feet. Martha opened the door, but it was Mary who sat at Jesus' feet. What was Martha doing? Martha was busy. So let me ask you this question. Where do you sit? Do you even sit? Be honest. Do you take time to sit at the feet of Jesus? Listen, learn, and just be with him. We can sometimes grumble that there is not enough people to do all the work, when Jesus might be actually saying, there is not enough people sitting at my feet. If we want to have time to sit at Jesus' feet, how do we do that in our lives and as our church? Are we busy being Marthas that we've lost sight of the one most important thing? You see, Martha, she was distracted. She was busy. She was serving. And she felt she was doing everything right. But in actual fact, what Martha had done is she had opened the door into her life and said, welcome, Jesus Christ. Welcome. Take a seat. Take a seat. And she had left him there in the corner of the lounge room of her life. Because she got distracted. She got busy. And we're in danger of doing the same thing. We can think about when we came to Jesus Christ. When he changed our lives, when we accepted him and opened that door and we said, Jesus, come into our life. But maybe, just maybe, we've done the same thing as Martha. We've welcomed him in and we've set him down in the lounge chair and we've got busy. Maybe it's time to stop, turn around, and entertain Jesus in our life. Not just welcome him in, but begin living our lives with him each and every day. Don't just put him in the corner of our life, thinking it's all going to be great because he's in the corner of our life, we've accepted him, but begin to live each and every day out of our relationship with him. You see, there is no more important mission the devil has than to make you so busy to sit at the feet of Jesus. You see, the devil is in the business of distracting. The devil's in the business of getting you so busy that you forget to spend time with Jesus. You forget to live the day, each day with him. So let me ask you this question. How busy are you? What's important to you? Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know. What? Be still and know that I am God. Stop and be still and know that I am God. In the midst of business, in the craziness of life, with all the noise that is around us, God says, stop and be still and know that I am God. And you notice in the story of Mary and Martha, he said exactly the same thing again. Martha, Mary got it. She sat at my feet. She wasn't distracted. She didn't get busy. She sat at my feet. So how can we spend time with God? How can we stop? How can we devote our lives to God? How can we begin to get out of the pattern of this world into a Christian pattern, a Christian worldview type pattern we can apply in our lives? How can we do that? We need to devote more of our lives to activities where we can find God. And we find the early church, the book of Acts, did this really well. They got this. They understood this. If you come with me to Acts 2:42 to 47, we'll just look quickly at how they lived their lives, how they prioritized their lives, what they did. It says they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship and to the breaking of bread and to prayer. They devoted themselves. What does devotion mean? Devotion for me was a word I grew up with. Morning devotions. But here we find they devoted themselves is to give their whole life over to. Give everything to. They devoted their life to. To what? To the apostles' teachings. To understand and to studying the Word. They spent time in Scripture. Be still and know that I'm God. Maybe it's time that we stop and we just sit down for 5 minutes and spend time in the Word of God. Ourselves. Not just think that the lesson pamphlet is enough, but actually spending time in His Word with Him. Asking Him to reveal Himself to us as we study His Word. And spend time letting Him speak to us. Speak to our hearts. Speak to our lives. Spend time getting to know Him. Because these early church people, disciples, that's what they did. They spent time understanding and getting to know Him more. They knew Him, but they want to know Him more. And it's like a marriage. When I first went out with my wife Chantel, we were at Avondale. And all I wanted to do was spend time with her. In the morning at breakfast, during the day, at night at dinner, and at night in the library study. We just wanted to spend time with each other. Why? Because we wanted to know more about each other. And it's exactly the same with Jesus. The more time we spend with Him, the more time we get to know Him, the more we become like Him. Spend time with Him. Why? Because Because thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Because when you are renewed in your mind, when it's transformed, you know his will. You know what he wants for your life. And you live life with him. They devoted themselves to the fellowship. And I love that we've got a social coming up next week, or we've got the camp coming up, because that is important in building up our relationship with Jesus. You get to know Jesus more by spending time with others in the church community, in the body of Christ. But get it, these disciples, this early church didn't just spend time on Sabbath. It was also during the week, where they met in each other's homes. They were the sort of people, if they had a phone, they'd pick it up and they would call Mary, or they would call Greg, or they would call David, or they would call Liliana. They would call whoever it is, and they would spend time with them, asking them how they are, sharing with them, encouraging them, sharing the Bible with them. There is nothing more powerful as a pastor than to experience your members come up and share with you how they'd called someone else, or they'd been speaking to someone else, and they'd shared the Bible with them, they'd shared words of encouragement. They were doing life together. And so this social time, this fellowship wasn't just on the Sabbath. This was also during the week. They knew that they would grow to know Jesus Christ through others. They could help each other, build each other up, as they shared and spent time together. The greatest commandment says, love the Lord your God and love your neighbour as yourself. Let us as a church, let us as Jesus Christ community in this world spend more time together, building one another, loving one another more and more, and encouraging one another. They also spend time in breaking of bread. That's not just eating, but it's also doing communion together. Remembering who Jesus was. Looking into his face, meditating on him, contemplating. And what? It says contemplate him daily. And they stopped and they were spending time remembering that sacrifice, that he died and he rose again for their sins. That he wants to be a part of their life with them each and every day. That through his body, through his blood, he bled and he died so that he could have a personal relationship with not only them, but with us. I want to encourage us to do that more and more. To each day, as we start the day, as we finish the day, as we go throughout the journey of our lives, to stop and think about him. Think of him. Remember his cross, him crucified, and how that has changed your life and how it continues to change your life. And they devoted themselves to prayer. Be still and know that I am God. Stop and spend time with me. They did that. And they communicated with him. Just like I did with Chantel and still do in the marriage now. No, I can't stop until 5 o'clock in the morning anymore. I couldn't do that. But when I was young, at college, I could. Just talk and talk and talk. And that's the sort of life Jesus wants us to live with him. Constantly talking to him. When we have a decision to make, then and there, talk to him. When we've got challenges with our family or with our children, stop and talk to him. When we're driving our car, stop and talk to him. I love that part of my life. I drive for about an hour each day now to get to work each day, and I just spend that time just talking to him in the car. I spend time praying for those that are driving past me. They don't know I'm praying for them, but I do. And I live my life in constant communication with Him. Lord, be with my meeting in 2 minutes. Lord, be with the decision I'm making right now. And I'm constantly talking with Him and to Him. It's something that we neglect so much, but it's something that can transform our life if we allow it. Devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful, and think what Colossians says. Prayer is the opening of the heart to God as it is to a friend. Not that it is necessary in order to make known to God what we are, who we are, but in order to enable us to receive Him. Oh my God, it's so right and so to Christ. And if you haven't read that book, I encourage you to get that book from the Christian Life Resources Centre. Get that book and read that book. It is a powerful, powerful book. Steps to Christ, Steps to Jesus by Ellen White. Martin Luther once said, if I fail to spend 2 hours in prayer each morning, the devil gets a victory through the day. I have so much business that I cannot get on without spending 3 hours daily in prayer. Wow. Wow. Think back to the start, we talked about all the various sums of our business of life. What part of that business can you devote to prayer? Spending time with God. You see, people will always make time for what is important to them. It might be the Wii, the Xbox, the car, the house, the lawns, the money, the boat. People will always make time for what is important to them. But you know what? The most important thing at the end of this life, the most important thing when Jesus comes back, is not that boat, is not that car, is not that house, it's not that prophecy seminar, it's not that church building. Have a look at this. The most important thing. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, do you not prophesy in your name, or cast out demons in your name, and do many mighty works in your name? Matthew 7:23. And then I will declare to them, what? I never knew you. The most important thing on that judgment day, the most important thing when you see Him face to face, is not how much you have done or how busy you have been in His name, but it's that you know Him. And you know Him personally. As your friend, as your Saviour, as your Lord and Jesus Christ. That is the most important thing. So what's important to you? Or shall I say, who's important to you? You see, if we want to have a supernatural experience, we have to connect with a supernatural God. I hear more and more, oh, I wish we were like those people in the book of Acts. I wish we were like the early church. I wish we were like those characters in the Bible. And we seem to think that there's some, almost like a fairy tale fantasy story. But they were there. Jesus Christ has placed them before us, that we can see and learn and experience and understand from their life. That we can have similar lives to them. That we can experience the same power, supernatural power as they've experienced. We can live lives as they have lived. Today, you are living. And today you have the opportunity to stop and live life with Jesus Christ, for Jesus Christ, looking forward to when he comes back and take us home to live with eternity. You see, eternity begins now. When you accept Jesus Christ as Saviour, that's eternity living beginning right there. When we begin to live lives focused on Jesus Christ, we can live lives changing our character to become more and more like him. And we live life focused on eternity, sharing Jesus Christ with those around us. A story is told of an elderly gentleman in a nursing home. And his daughter went to see him, and the staff of the nursing home said that he's only got a few days to live. We're so sorry, but we've only got a few days to live. So get your things sorted out now. We need to get it sorted out. And so the daughter called the pastor from the church. And this man hadn't been to church for 20, 30 years. But she still called him. He said, "Can you go around and visit my dad? He's only got a few days to live. I just want you to visit him. Can you anoint him and just make sure he's in a good place?" "Sure," said the pastor. "Not a problem. I can do that." So the pastor went around, he walked into the room and he saw the chair sitting next to his bed. And he thought, "Oh, must have been expecting me." So he walked in and said, "Oh, are you expecting me, were you? Thank you so much for getting the chair for me." And the older man just looked at him and And the pastor sat down and began to share with him and read a few Bible texts to him. So the old man said, Mr. Pastor, you thought I was expecting you, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah, that's why you got the chair." The other gentleman said, "Let me tell you a story. When I was young, growing up in church, I heard the pastor do a sermon about prayer. He said, I never understood how to pray. I didn't know how to pray. And the pastor would call and said, if you'd like to have prayer, come down the front. I'll pray for you." And so he said, I went down the front and we had prayer. And I said to the pastor, "But Pastor, I don't know how to pray." The pastor came around to my house during that week. We did a Bible study on prayer. And the pastor got 2 chairs. And he told me to sit down opposite him in the chair. And so I did. And then he said, when you pray, talk to Jesus as though he's in the other chair opposite you, as though he's your friend. Talk to him as though he's your friend. Pastor, from that day forward, I'll always talk to Jesus as my friend. And that's why my chair is sitting next to me in my room. Because my friend is next to me. My friend is with me. The pastor anointed him and shared with him a few more texts and comforted him and left. And a few days later, he got a phone call from the daughter. Pastor, my dad passed away last night." "I'm so sorry," said the pastor. "I'm so sorry." The pastor said there was something strange. The staff told me that when they went in and they saw him, he was lying in his bed with his head on the arm of the chair. He was lying with his head on the arm of the chair. The pastor just paused and there was silence. And he said, I wish we could all go like that. I wish we could all go like that. You see, that old man, he got it. He understood it. And he realized that Jesus was with him. That Jesus is and was his friend. And today I want to encourage you to know that Jesus is your friend. That Jesus doesn't just want to spend the morning or the night with you, but he wants to spend every moment of every day with you. Therefore, do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Offer your lives as living sacrifices to him. Doesn't just mean offer your morning or night. Offer everything. And live life with him each and every day, every moment of every day with him. So let me ask you this question. What's most important to you in the end? Lord, we stand here this morning before you because we want more. We want more of you. And Lord, as we embark on a new year, as we look forward to all this year has to offer, we pray that you may be our number one. That you may be the most important thing in our life. And that we may quit just doing the pattern of this world over and over and over again and stop and come back to that relationship with you. Help us to discern your will in our lives. Help us to stop from the business and come and sit at your feet, Lord. Help us to spend each and every moment of each and every day with you. Because you're the one who died on the cross to give us life, an abundant life, to give us life not only now but for eternity. Lord, fill our life. We open that door to our life this morning and we ask you to come in. And don't just sit in that lounge chair, but Lord, fill every single room of every single part of our life today. And until we see you face to face, we can give you a hug and we can just spend that moment in your presence, Lord. Just be with us. Guide us, we pray. In your precious name.